Hello, welcome to my channel. In this video, I want to show you how you can install SSL certificates to an Apache web server. Let me share my screen. Okay, so I think you should be able to see my screen now. So I'll go to virtual machine. The first thing we're going to do is to provision a virtual machine. So let me give it a name. SSL VM Apache VM Franklin. So let's change this to, I do not want availability. I will open ports 80 and 443. So all I'm doing is just provisioning the virtual machine. Yeah, a virtual machine without any web server. So it's getting provisioned. Hopefully the validation will be successful. Yeah, so the validation is passed. So now we can create our virtual machine. While this is going on, I would go to open my terminal. Okay, so the deployment is complete. So we can go to resource. You see that it gives us a public IP address. And we are going to be using this public IP address to SSH into the server. So what I'll be doing now is I'll stop sharing. I'll go share my terminal, which I already launched. And we have the terminal here. So I would bring this up. I would paste the public IP address. And I would allow this one. And hopefully we'll have a shell access, which we do. Okay. So the first thing I would do is I would update. So I mean, one thing I wanted to show you is that, so okay, so the update is done. Let's go to our browser just for us to see that um there's no web server. So, I've copied the public IP. If I should come over here and I paste the public IP, this is without SSL now. It's not going to run because there's no web server. If I should paste it and I include HTTPS, it's still not going to run because there's no web server as well. There's no web server, so this will not work, even though the port is open. So let me close this and let's go back to our terminal. Okay, so I'm back to my terminal. We now need to install a web server. So let me clear my screen. Is it clear? Yeah, I think command prompt, that's one where you use CLS. So we have this. We now want to install Apache 2. So what I'll do is sudo apt install Apache 2. Okay. So with that, we are going to have Apache installed, and we have Apache installed now. So we now have a web server installed. So let's go and try to see if we can access our virtual machine via our browser. So let me stop sharing. Let's go back. We only have a web server now. We've not installed um any SSL certificates. So let me go back and put the VM again without SSL with HTTP. And now we have the default Apache page. But if we should take it and go over and we put SSL, HTTPS, try to access it via a secure channel, it's not going to work. And that's because we do not have any certificates. Okay, so now we want to install a certificate. So let me go to my browser. Let me go to my terminal rather. So I'm going to my terminal and I'll copy um our certificate command. So I'll just copy it and paste it over here. I'll make some changes to it because I just finished the video for Nginx. So instead of I'll just change this to Apache self-signed, the name of the certificate, because it's not Nginx, it's Apache. And also the key, I'll call the key Apache self-signed. Okay, so with this, I think I'm good. New key, yeah, so all is fine. So we run this, start asking me a lot of questions. So Australia, states, Lagos. I'm not filling all of these. Common name, frankly, are your address. I'm not filling. And we are good. So we've created a self-signed certificate now for our in our web server. We've created it, but we need to tell our web server where to look out when it needs the certificate or the key. So we have some configuration changes to make, some configurational changes. So what I would do now is would enter, we'll run some commands. The first thing is I want to show you a particular directory. Um, I just want you to see the content there because it's very key when it comes to certificates. So let's do change directory /etc /Apache 2 /sites enabled. Yeah. So let's have a look at this and let's see what's the content. Okay. So we have the default configuration. We have the default configuration here, which is very useful, especially when we want to work with virtual hosts. We can modify this, we can create more. Okay, but because this is just for a single site, the default site, let's leave that for now. So let me also show you um another directory that is very key, which is for sites available. So let's ls, and you can see default SSL and the um the default.config as well. Okay, which is great. So now what we are going to do is we are going to do some configuration as I said. So let's run sudo we want to enable mode SSL, which does not exist. I mean, we have just the default over here. So we- would it will create it. So we have that. So now let me go back to cd site enabled and let's ls, and we still have our default configuration here. Okay. So another command that we need to run is sudo a to enable sites default SSL. Okay. Yeah, so we run this. Okay, so what we would do now is we are going to reload Apache. Um, we'll reload Apache. We'll run sudo um systemctl reload Apache 2. Yeah, so it's still .service, but it's not necessary. So we reload Apache. Now let's go and modify the default SSL. And I said that we need to be able to tell our web server where our configuration, where our certificate files are located. So we'll do sudo nano etc apache 2 sites available default SSL config, and would modify this, and we now need to include the paths um to our certificate files. So SSL engine is on. Yeah, so this is the path here. So we are going to modify this to the correct values. But let's just scroll down and see everything around here. Okay, so this is the ending. You can see virtual hosts. We can work with virtual hosts here. Okay, so let's just modify the path to our certificates, our self-signed certificates. So I called it, let me look for what I called it. Um, okay. So let's start with the certificate file. Okay, so I would modify this. Or call this um set where's the link set? Okay, it is CSSL private for the key first. Okay, for the certificate first, it is CSSL set and I called it Apache hyphen self signed dot CRT. Yeah, that's what I called it. And for the key, I called it private Apache / self-signed dot key. Okay, so we have the certificate file and the certificate key. So we have that set up now. So we are good. Yeah, so I think we are good. So I can save this. Yeah, I can save this. So the next thing I will do now is to restart the Apache server. So we're going to restart it. So would run um sudo systemctl restart Apache 2. Okay, hopefully this would work. Yeah, so we've restarted it now. So now we are going to go back to our browser and we'll try to access our public IP over a secure channel, HTTPS, and we'll see if it will still not load or if it will work. So I would stop sharing and I'll go to share my browser. Yeah. So now I'll copy this. Remember, it's a self-signed certificate. It's not a trusted certificate. So don't expect it to just open on its own. We need to proceed. We need to accept the risk because it's self-signed and browsers are configured to work that way. So I'm running this now, and it's telling me the connection isn't private. I can choose advanced and I can proceed. And we can get to this same page, and you can see that we are here. We have our HTTPS here. Ignore this not secure just because the certificate is self-signed. And if I want to use a trusted certificate, I will need to use a domain name. I would have gotten a domain name, add an A record containing the IP address, the public address, into the DNS management for the domain name so that I can use the domain name in the web server to create the certificate. So I hope this is clear. So you can see how we can create certificates and enable them using um, on Apache. As I said earlier on, when you provision a virtual machine, there's usually no certificate, no self-signed, no free certificate, no kind of certificate. It's always via HTTP. And if you have an application that you know uses Apache and the application creates a certificate for you, your job is just to tell Apache where to locate the certificates and you'll be good. And I already showed you how to get that done. That was when we used Nano, our text editor, to add those links. That was why we can have this. So I believe this is clear. If you find this video helpful, don't hesitate to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.